Hello everybody, it's Lazel here with another Magic the Gathering EDH deck tech. Today I am featuring Ghoulcaller Gisa, a 5 mana 3/4 legendary creature human wizard. She has the activated ability of 1 black, tap, sacrifice another creature, put X 2/2 black zombie creature tokens onto the battlefield where X is the sacrificed creature's power. The game plan is really simple with this one. We are going to flood the board with tokens, pump them up, and then we are going to swing for the win. Some of the Anthem effects that we are about to use we will get from cards like Cemetery Reaper, 3 mana 2/2. Other zombie creatures you control get +1/+1. And for 3 mana, tap, exile target creature card from a graveyard, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. Or Vizier of the Scorpion, 3 mana 1/1. When Vizier of the Scorpion enters the battlefield, amass 1, and zombie tokens you control have Death Touch. Really powerful for a threatening swing. Mikaeus the Unhallowed, 6 mana 5/5. Intimidate. Whenever a human deals combat damage to you, destroy it. Other non-human creatures you control get +1/+1 and have Undying. Undead War Chief is an awesome Anthem and discount effect. 4 mana 1/1. Zombie spells you play cost 1 less to play. Zombies you control get +2/+1. Lord of the Accursed, of course, 3 mana 2/3. Other zombies you control get +1/+1. And for 2 and tap, all zombies gain menace until end of turn. Death Baron, a great one. 3 mana 2/2. Skeletons you control and other zombies you control get +1/+1 and have Death Touch. Another great Anthem effect is from Tomb Tyrant. 4 mana 3/3. Other zombies you control get +1/+1, and his activated ability says 3 mana tap, sacrifice a creature. Return a zombie creature card at random from your graveyard to the battlefield. Activate only during your turn and only if there are at least 3 zombie creature cards in your graveyard. Risen Executioner is also really cool. 4 mana 4/3. Risen Executioner can't block. Other zombie creatures you control get +1/+1. And you may cast Risen Executioner from your graveyard if you pay 1 more to cast it for each other creature card in your graveyard. Once Gisa is on the battlefield, we want to sacrifice some very high power creatures to create a lot of zombies. But these creatures should have a low CMC, so we still have mana available for some other powerful spells. So we play Phyrexian Soulgorger, 3 mana 8/8, and an cumulative upkeep of sacrifice a creature. So when Gisa is on the field and is ready to use her ability, we will just cast Phyrexian Soulgorger, maybe keep him around for a turn cycle, and before we get into our upkeep, we will just sacrifice him to Gisa's ability. Rotting Regisaur, 3 mana 7/6. At the beginning of your upkeep, discard a card. We will do the same as with Phyrexian Soulgorger. Last but not least, there's also Lupin Prototype, 2 mana 5/5. Lupin Prototype can't attack or block unless a player has no cards in hand. We don't care about that because for 2 mana and then for 1 additional and Gisa's ability, we will just get 10 power on the board. We are in black, so we need some awesome card draw. For example, with Specious Specialist, 4 mana 2/3. As Specious Specialist enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. Whenever a creature of the chosen type dies, you may draw a card. Phyrexian Arena, of course, 3 mana enchantment at the beginning of your upkeep. You draw a card and you lose 1 life. Undead Augur, great in every zombie tribal deck. 2 mana 2/2. Whenever Undead Augur or another zombie you control dies, you draw a card and you lose 1 life. Smothering Abomination is also really cool in this one. 4 mana 4/3. Devoid. Flying. At the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice a creature. Whenever you sacrifice a creature, draw a card. Let's draw as much value as possible from our creatures dying. So we play Blood Artist, 2 mana 0/1. Whenever Blood Artist or another creature dies, target player loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Ayara, First of Locthwain, is great in this deck. 3 mana 2/3. Whenever Ayara, First of Locthwain or another black creature enters the battlefield under your control, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. You can also use her to sacrifice another black creature to draw a card. Zulaport Cutthroat, 2 mana 1/1. Whenever Zulaport Cutthroat or another creature you control dies, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Bastion of Remembrance, great enchantment. 3 mana. When Bastion of Remembrance enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 white human soldier creature token. Whenever a creature you control dies, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Vengeful Dead, 4 mana 3/2 zombie. Whenever Vengeful Dead or another zombie is put into a graveyard from play, each opponent loses 1 life. The Meathook Massacre, 2 mana and X. When the Meathook Massacre enters the battlefield, each creature gets -X/-X until end of turn. Whenever a creature you control dies, each opponent loses 1 life. Whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, you gain 1 life. We will be creating a bunch of tokens and we will also be sacrificing a bunch of tokens, so Mirkwood Bats is an absolute must play in this deck. 4 mana 2/3 flying. Whenever you create or sacrifice a token, each opponent loses 1 life. Let's draw even more value from our creatures dying. Dictate of Erebos, 5 mana flash enchantment. Whenever a creature you control dies, each opponent sacrifices a creature. Noxious Ghoul is really cool in this one. 5 mana 3/3. Whenever Noxious Ghoul or another zombie enters the battlefield, all non-zombie creatures get -1/-1 until end of turn. Grave Pact, 4 mana enchantment. Whenever a creature you control dies, each other player sacrifices a creature. And let's wipe the board and keep all of our zombies. Kindred Dominance, 7 mana sorcery. Choose a creature type. Destroy all creatures that aren't of the chosen type. Here are some more honorable mentions when it comes to enchantments and artifacts. Obelisk of Earth, 6 mana artifact. Convoke. As Obelisk of Earth enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. Creatures you control of the chosen type get +2/+2. Liliana's Mastery, 5 mana enchantment. Zombies you control get +1/+1. When Liliana's Mastery enters the battlefield, create 2/2/2 black zombie creature tokens. Endless Ranks of the Dead, 4 mana. At the beginning of your upkeep, create X 2/2 black zombie creature tokens, where X is half the number of zombies you control rounded down. Crowded Crypt, a great 3 mana rock with a lot of upside. Whenever a creature you control dies, put a corpse counter on Crowded Crypt. For 6 mana tap, sacrifice Crowded Crypt, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token with Decayed for each crypt counter on Crowded Crypt. Graph Harvest, 1 mana enchantment. Zombies you control have menace, and for 4 mana exile a creature card from your graveyard. Put a 2/2 black zombie creature token onto the battlefield. Last but not least, Vanquisher's Banner, 5 mana artifact. Choose a creature type as Vanquisher's Banner enters the battlefield. Creatures you control of the chosen type get +1/+1. Whenever you cast a creature spell of the chosen type, draw a card. Let's go for some more honorable zombie creatures in this deck. Diregraph Colossus, 3 mana 2/2. Diregraph Colossus enters the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on it for each zombie card in your graveyard. Whenever you cast a zombie spell, create a tapped 2/2 black zombie creature token. Unbreathing Horde, 3 mana 0/0. Unbreathing Horde enters the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on it for each other zombie you control and each zombie card in your graveyard. If Unbreathing Horde would be dealt damage, prevent that damage and remove a +1/+1 counter from it. Razor Lash Transmogrant, also really strong card in this one. 2 mana artifact creature zombie. Razor Lash Transmogrant can't block. For 6 mana, return Razor Slash Transmogrant from your graveyard to the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on it. This ability costs 4 less to activate if an opponent controls 4 or more non-basic land cards, and he is a free 1. Noosegraph Mob, 6 mana 0/0. Noosegraph Mob enters the battlefield with 5 +1/+1 counters on it. Whenever a player casts a spell, remove a +1/+1 counter from Noosegraph Mob. If you do, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. Ebondeath Dracolich, 4 mana 5/2 flash flying. Ebondeath Dracolich enters the battlefield tapped. You may cast Ebondeath Dracolich from your graveyard if a creature not named Ebondeath Dracolich died this turn. You want to win more? You get it. Gravespawn Sovereign, 6 mana 3/3. Tap 5 untapped zombies you control. Put target creature card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. Yawgmoth Front Physician, 4 mana 2/4. Protection from humans. Pay 1 life, sacrifice another creature, put a -1/-1 counter on up to 1 target creature and draw a card. And for 2 black, discard a card, Proliferate. Another great insurance for creature-themed type decks is Haunting Voyage, 6 mana sorcery. Choose a creature type. Return up to 2 creature cards of that type from your graveyard to the battlefield. If the spell was foretold, return all creature cards of that type from your graveyard to the battlefield instead. And casting it for its foretell costs 7 mana in total. Alright guys, these were a few ideas of how I would play Ghoulcaller Gisa. Let me know which cards you would add to the deck, and let me know which legendary creature I shall feature next. See you in the next one. Goodbye.